So, my name is Tuesday, and we're going to talk about myself today, my story today. I got a little flow, and people like it. So, it's my rap. Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, and you are tuned into My Mayhem. So excited to talk to you guys today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Today, guys, we're going to talk about long-term birth control and fertilization. So, just to give you a little bit of a backstory, my husband and I, we were together 10 years before marriage, and 8 of those years was spent with me being in charge of our primary source of contraception. I was on the pill for 8 years, and I'll just talk a little bit about my experience with the pill. I was on orthotricycline low, which was a low dosage, and it was really good for me. I did not gain a whole bunch of weight, a lot of the myths that were associated with it. I did feel a little bloated, only if I wasn't active. So as long as I worked out on a regular basis, I'm sure I did keep on a little bit of weight, but it wasn't like, a dramatic amount of weight. I was on orthotricycline low for 8 years. And after we got married, I decided that I was no longer taking birth control. I was a little concerned about fertilization after being on birth control for so long. And I had heard so many stories. So I talked to my doctor, I talked to my mom, I talked to my friends, and all of the lengths of time just varied so dramatically. So it was really hard for me to say. My doctor was telling me, oh, right after you stop, you might get pregnant like the day after. And a friend of mine was telling me, it took us a year. Another friend of mine, 6 months. And then my mom, 2 months. So she said I was on birth control for a long time. When I got off, it took us exactly 2 months. So I was just so confused. And after getting married, something about it just really made me say, I don't want to put this in my body anymore. I just started kind of feeling it weighing on me. So I stopped taking it, and my husband and I, we were expecting like maybe the 6-month mark. I was just like, I get these hormones out of my system. They've been in there for so long. And we got married in May. So we were like, okay, maybe a December pregnancy, maybe the top of the next year pregnancy. And lo and behold, 2 months later, voila, a little bun in the oven. So my story was a lot similar to my mother's. In 2 months, I was pregnant. We are very excited. It was a little sooner than what we expected, but we're just so full of joy now and just so happy that our little one is on the way. After I stopped taking the birth control for pretty much the first 2 months, I was experiencing withdrawals, and a lot of those can be like pregnancy symptoms. So I was kind of feeling a little nauseous, or my husband said I was having mood swings. My body was just doing a lot of weird stuff. So my stomach would feel a certain way one day. I would kind of be a little sluggish, and some days I would be a little nauseous. And I later found out that I could attribute it to the withdrawal because, like I said, no breaks at all for 8 years. And so coming off of it was like, a big shock to my body. And so by the time I was actually pregnant, so I just knew I wasn't pregnant. And lo and behold, I was. My mom knew from the very beginning, but I didn't. This journey, it is definitely like specific to your body. It is specific to your experience. Nobody can tell you what your body is going to do from one day to the next. So all those questions I asked, it really didn't mean anything because at the end of the day, I was going to get pregnant when I was supposed to get pregnant. I will say that I was doing things to ensure that if I did get pregnant, that I would have a healthy pregnancy. I was already eating much healthier. I was already working out a lot. And a lot of that I was doing just to really flush out those hormones out of my body. And then I was taking prenatals, and I was doing all of that just because I know and I have heard that, the folic acid is really good just even in conception. So I was like, if I do happen to get pregnant, I want to make sure that I have all of the nutrients that I need. You really just want to make sure that for the health and the sake of you and your baby, that you're doing everything in your power to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Tell me your stories. I want to hear about, how long did it take you? How long did it take you? Did your body go through some changes? What types of birth control are you all on? My doctor is talking to me now about after we give birth, what types of contraception are we going to use? And I am kind of against going back on the pill. And we are not really on the condom track. So she was giving me some other options that were a little scary. Can you guys help me out? I want to know, like, what are you guys taking? What are you guys implanting? How is this working for you? It was great talking to you. I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight as to fertility after birth control, because I did have these types of questions. So I just really wanted to open up the dialogue because everyone's experiences are different. And as women, we got to stick together. We think that we're alone in a lot of these things, and we're not. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to My Mayhem. Until next time, toodles.